AITA for telling my wife that she can still marry the man she said was more of a man than I am. I, a 31-year-old, was washing dishes when my wife Tessa, 29, began yelling during another argument about finances. We had been married for 4 years. The reason for the conflict? I suggested we skip her cousin's lavish wedding in another state because we needed to replace the car tires and the air conditioning in the vehicle was broken. Apparently, that made me less of a man than Colin, her ex-boyfriend, whom she dated for 3 years before me. According to her, Colin would never make me miss family events because he supported his partner. She said, "My God, I should have married him. At least he is a real man." I turned off the faucet, dried my hands slowly, looked at her, and said quietly, "You still can." She laughed and replied, "What? You think I can still marry Colin? I won't stop you." Before she could continue, I did something somewhat petty. I took a screenshot from our home security camera app, which had recorded her entire speech with audio, and sent it to Colin with the message, "Your ex says she wishes she had married you. Interested?" Tessa was still complaining that Colin had bought a Tesla for his current girlfriend when my phone vibrated. Colin replied, "Is this for real, bro?" I broke up with her because she maxed out 3 of my credit cards and told my mom I was cheap. Tell her I'm chill. By the way, show her this. He sent another text immediately after. P.S. That Tesla she talks about is a 2015 Honda Civic. Tessa always lived in a fantasy world. Good luck with that mess. I showed her the phone. She read it once, then again. Her face went pale. She ran to the bathroom and locked the door. I could hear her crying and talking to someone on the phone. 20 minutes later she came out, grabbed her bag, and left without saying a word. That was 3 days ago, and that is where the real circus began. Update 1. Tessa did not come back to the house for 2 days. She stayed at her sister Sierra's house, but she was not just hiding. She was planning. First, she went on Facebook and posted this status. Sometimes you only realize you are in a toxic relationship when someone shows you how petty and vengeful they can be, talking to my ex to humiliate me. This is rock bottom. I am rethinking my decisions. Her mom, Darlene, commented instantly, "Daughter, come home. You don't deserve this." Her dad, Frank, added, "That kid was never worthy of you." However, a public post has a problem. Sometimes the truth comes out. Colin's girlfriend, Valerie, commented, "Is this the same Tessa who DM'd my boyfriend last month asking if he still thought about what could have been? The one I had to block. That Tessa." The comment was deleted, but I had already taken a screenshot. That was when Tessa made her first big mistake. She tried to access our savings account. Not to withdraw money, as she couldn't because the account was solely in my name, but she wanted to see the balance. How do I know? The bank called me regarding suspicious login attempts from her device. She was plotting something. That night, I went to Sierra and her mom's house. I was in full intervention mode. "We have to talk about your behavior," started Darlene. "My behavior? Talking to Colin was mistreatment," said Sierra. "Emotional manipulation." "Interesting," I replied. "Tessa, did you tell them about last month?" Her eyes went wide. "About last month? What?" I continued. "When you messaged Colin asking if he still thought about what could have been?" His girlfriend commented about it. There was total silence. Darlene turned to Tessa. "You told me he was the one who wasn't over the past, isn't that right?" I took out my phone. "I also have screenshots of you messaging your coworker, Justin, telling him how handsome he is from 2 weeks ago. Want me to continue?" Sierra looked disgusted. "Tessa, what on earth is this?" They asked me to leave after Tessa swore it was all a misunderstanding and that we just needed some time. But that night, while I was sleeping on the couch by choice, I heard her on the phone. "I need $300 just until I get organized." "No, I can't ask him, please." "Dad." Frank apparently said no. I heard her throw the phone onto the couch with force. Update 2. Yesterday, Tessa crossed all boundaries. She called my mom crying, claiming I was financially controlling her and isolating her from everyone. My mom, bless her heart, called me instantly. "Ethan, Tessa says you won't let her access the money." I explained, "Mom, she has her own account with her salary. She wants access to my personal savings that I had before the marriage." She forgot to mention that part," my mom replied. She also forgot to mention she goes around messaging exes and calling her coworker handsome. "Want me to resolve it?" I told her, "Do what you think is best, Mom." My mom called Tessa back and said something along the lines of, "Dear, I raised my son to respect his partner, but I also raised him not to be a doormat. Stop calling me with lies, or I'm going to start reminding people about the time you took $50 from my purse at Christmas and never returned it." Tessa went berserk. She came back to the house screaming that I had turned everyone against her. Everyone? I didn't talk to anyone. I just showed you what Colin answered. You lied to your mom. I told the truth. You are upset because your lies didn't work. Then she dropped the ultimatum. I want a divorce and I want half of everything. I replied, okay. She blinked, confused. What do you mean okay? Okay, file the papers, I said. She expected screaming, pleading, drama, anything. Instead, I took out my phone and started looking for divorce lawyers right in front of her. You are not even going to try to save this, she yelled. Save what? A marriage where you say you wish you had married another guy, where you send messages to other men. I'll pass. She called someone immediately. Dad, he is giving up on us. He isn't even fighting for our marriage. I could hear Frank sigh on the other end. Tessa, you told him you wished you had married someone else, but he had to fight for you? For what? So you can keep treating him badly? No. Daughter, you made your bed. He hung up on her. Update 3. This week Tessa tried hard to play the victim role. First, she posted on Instagram that she was going through a difficult time and needed support and prayers. She created a GoFundMe with the caption, "Rebuilding After Betrayal." Someone sent $5. It was Colin with the message, "For therapy, you need it." She blocked him on every platform and threw a tantrum. Then came the drama at work. We work at different companies, but she was going around telling coworkers that I was controlling and creating an unsafe environment. One of them, Danielle, wrote to me on LinkedIn. Hi, Ethan. I don't know you, but I work with Tessa. She is going around saying worrying things and asking for money for an escape fund. She says you control her accounts and won't let her leave, but yesterday she arrived with a new Michael Kors bag. So something doesn't add up. New bag while saying she needs money to flee. I thanked Danielle and sent everything to my lawyer. That afternoon, her coworker, Justin, yes, the handsome one, arrived at my apartment. Bro, we need to talk. I said, no need. He continued, your wife is going around saying at work that you are dangerous. She asked to stay at my house. I laughed. Oh, my girlfriend is pregnant and she is furious. Tessa knew that. She is trying to cause trouble because I rejected her last month. You rejected her? I asked. Yes. She hit on me at the company happy hour. I shut it down. Now she wants to mess up my relationship. I asked him if he would declare that statement before a lawyer. Of course, he said. That night Tessa arrived full of shopping bags. Little purchases to vent. I asked. I deserve good things after what you did to me, she replied. What did I do to you? Show your ex what you said about him. You humiliated me. I corrected her. You humiliated yourself. I just showed the proof. She threw a shoe at me. She missed. It hit the TV and shattered the screen. That is going to come out of your half of the settlement, I said calmly. She screamed and went to the room, kicking the door. Update 4. The meetings with lawyers started. Tessa hired Lawrence, who according to Google reviews was the most expensive in the city. My lawyer, Dana, laughed when she heard the name. Lawrence is good at billing, not at winning when the client has no case. In mediation, Tessa arrived dressed in designer brands. New jewelry, nails done, impeccable hair, stating she needed spousal support because she couldn't maintain her standard of living without me. Dana pulled out the receipts. Your client spent $350 on clothes and accessories last week while claiming she is in financial need. Lawrence looked at Tessa. How much did you spend? Tessa replied. I needed to look professional for the meetings. $354 professional. The mediator, a woman named Dr. Dorothy, had no patience. You work full-time, have no children, and the marriage lasted for years. What exactly is your hardship? Tessa argued. He mistreated me emotionally. How? Asked the mediator. He talked to my ex. Dr. Dorothy clarified. After you said you wanted to have married him? Silence filled the room. Dana pulled out more documents. We also have statements from Justin Martinez and Danielle Williams regarding the lady's insinuations at work and the false accusations against my client. Tessa went pale. How did you know? They came forward voluntarily. Apparently, you caused serious problems at your job. Lawrence asked for a recess. You could hear him shouting from outside the room. You flirted with a coworker and lied about abuse. Do you have any idea how that looks? When they came back, Lawrence said she would accept a clean break, no alimony. Everyone keeps their own accounts and debts. No, said Tessa. I deserve compensation for my pain and suffering. Dr. Dorothy actually scoffed. Pain and suffering, ma'am? This is a no-fault divorce state. And even if it weren't, you were the one who expressed a desire to be with another man. We left the meeting without an agreement. Update 5. This week Tessa's behavior reached a new low. She decided that if she couldn't get money through the legal system, she would try another way. She started selling our things on Facebook Marketplace and eBay. Only they weren't ours, they were mine. My gaming console, my guitar, my collection of autographed baseballs, all listed for sale. There was only one problem. I work in the pawn and resale industry. I caught her putting my guitar into the trunk of a stranger's car in our parking lot. That is theft, Tessa. It is marital property, and specifically premarital assets. I bought these 5 years before meeting you. I have the receipt. The buyer got uncomfortable. Look, bro, I don't want trouble. I told him, no trouble. This is stolen merchandise. I'm going to call the police. He took the guitar out of the car and left instantly. Tessa was furious. You ruined my sale. You tried to sell my guitar, I countered. The police arrived shortly after. I showed receipts, photos of me with the items before the marriage, and screenshots of the ads. Tessa said it was a misunderstanding. The officers took it as a warning, but informed her that if it happened again, she would face charges. That night she called Colin again from the landline at 1 a.m. I heard her through the bedroom door. Colin, I know I messed up, but we had a good time together. Can't we try again? I didn't hear what he answered, but I heard her reaction. Your girlfriend doesn't have to know. Then, a pause. What? You are married now? Since when? Another pause. Last month. You didn't post anything? Silence. You blocked me. She hung up and cried for an hour. Final update. The divorce was finalized yesterday, and this is how it ended. Tessa made one last desperate move. She arrived at the courthouse claiming she was pregnant. My lawyer asked for proof instantly. I didn't bring the test, said Tessa. The judge, already out of patience with the case, ordered a recess for her to present proof. She came back with a test she tried to take in the courthouse bathroom. It came out negative. Your Honor, my client seems to be having an emotional breakdown, said Lawrence, looking exhausted. The judge had no sympathy. Mrs. Wilson, you wasted this court's time with lies, attempted theft, and now a fabricated pregnancy claim. Here is my decision. Clean break. Everyone keeps premarital assets and their own debts. Due to Mrs. Wilson's behavior, she will pay Mr. Wilson $400 for the broken TV and for the attempted theft damages. Tessa gasped. What? I have to pay him. The judge replied. You are lucky he isn't suing you in civil court. Any objection, counselor? Lawrence shook his head. None, Your Honor. Outside the courtroom, Tessa had one final outburst in front of everyone. You destroyed my life. I gave you the best years of my life. I replied. For years, Tessa, and you spent them wishing you were with another guy. Darlene tried to calm her. Daughter, let's go. He doesn't have to know what he's losing. I interjected. I know exactly what I'm losing. Someone who insulted my manhood, flirted with a coworker, lied about my behavior, and tried to sell my property. I'm devastated. Not even Frank could take it anymore. Tessa, enough. You did this. The best part came next. Justin and Danielle were there as witnesses. Justin's pregnant girlfriend was with him. She walked up to Tessa. You tried to destroy my relationship because my man rejected you. You are pathetic. Tessa tried to answer. But then Valerie, Colin's wife, yes, wife, arrived with him. They weren't there for the divorce. The county clerk's office handles both divorce filings and marriage records. They were getting certified copies for their honeymoon. Tessa, said Valerie, surprised. All right, your divorce. Colin asked. Is that the ex who keeps calling you? Colin looked uncomfortable. Let's go, love. Wait, said Valerie, turning to me. You are Ethan, the one who warned Colin about her messages. Thank you. That helped us decide to get married sooner instead of waiting. We didn't want drama at the wedding. They left holding hands. Tessa stood there watching her ex-boyfriend leave with his new wife right after she had gotten divorced and been ordered to pay me money. She didn't even cry. She just stood there in shock. Today, Tessa moved back in with her parents. She was fired for creating a toxic work environment after Justin filed a formal HR complaint. Colin and Valerie are on their honeymoon in Greece. They posted photos online. Justin and his girlfriend are doing very well. I kept the apartment, my belongings, and my peace. Last week, I ran into Sierra at a coffee shop. She apologized for taking Tessa's side at the beginning. She is my sister, but she has always been like this. Always wanting what belongs to others, never valuing what she has. You escaped. I nodded. I know. Sierra added. She still talks about Colin, you know? She shows photos of his wedding and says, that was meant for me. But she had the chance with him and with me. I replied, yeah, but Tessa doesn't want what she has. She wants what she can't have. It's always been like that. Yesterday, I received a message from an unknown number. Ethan, forgive me. Can we talk? I answered, no. Then I blocked the number. Today I am doing fine. I started therapy to handle all this in a healthy way, unlike spending hundreds of dollars on clothes to run away from reality. I joined a hiking group and even went on a date last week with a woman named Karina. When I told her the story, she laughed and said, at least my ex only stole my Netflix password. For everyone asking if I regret messaging Colin, no. He deserved to know his ex was still obsessed, and his response ended her fantasy instantly. The most ironic thing? If Tessa had been honest about being unhappy instead of being cruel, we could have separated on good terms, without a war, without a circus. But she preferred to chase a fantasy that never existed, and in doing so, she lost everything. But hey, at least she has those designer bags to keep her company. Comment. I want to start by acknowledging how hard it can be to walk away from someone you once loved. Real strength is not about shouting the loudest. It is about knowing your worth and setting firm boundaries when respect is no longer on the table. We often see people chase a fantasy life instead of nurturing the real one right in front of them. But true happiness always begins with honesty. Every choice we make has a ripple effect, and taking accountability for our actions is the only way to build a future we can be proud of. Healing does not come from material things or external validation, but from doing the quiet inner work to find your peace again. It is inspiring to see that you can come out of a chaotic situation not bitter, but better and ready to grow. When you refuse to engage in toxicity and choose to handle conflict with dignity, you protect your own mental well-being. I hope this reminds you that you deserve a relationship built on mutual respect, trust, and genuine partnership. Prioritize your peace of mind today, because that is the most valuable asset you will ever own. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.